in law. For many years, I have been active in the concerns of our city, county, and this state. I firmly believe in fairness and justice for all of us citizens. I have worked hard to provide legal help for those in need of legal representation. If you are injured in an accident, I will fight for your rights and make sure you get the compensation you deserve. I am dedicated to provide you and your loved ones with top-notch legal support. For more information, 601-202-6027 for legal help when it matters most. Again, that's 601-202-6027. Ali Shamsuddin, attorney at law, a proud underwriter of WMPR 90.1. War and poverty.
Now we extend our olive branch to you, standing for the people with your host, attorney Ali Shamsuddin, and guests, heard every Wednesday evening, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. exclusively on 90.1 FM WMPR. This program shall focus on facts that we share with each other on this platform designated to inform, educate, and organize our communities in Jackson and abroad. No rational comments or opinions are regarded as being irrelevant, as your comments and participation could prove to be the cornerstone of our goal, being to restore moral ethics, integrity, respect, and progress, and efforts to reach for a better future in all aspects of the everyday lives of our family and our children. We now join your host, Ali Shamsuddin, and guests, bringing to you Standing for the People, where together we can, heard exclusively on the Voice of the Community, 90.1 FM WMPR.
Good evening. Good evening. Here it is, New Year's Eve. Also, it's 7 p.m. on Wednesday, so here I am, standing for the people. That's the program, and I'm Ali Shamsuddin. Appreciate your handy over there. I always have to say that. He's running that board over there, and that's my man over there. And I always have to say this program is brought to you by the people. The people. What do you mean by that, Shamsuddin? I mean people who got together and said, Shamsuddin, we want you back on the air. You used to bring us facts and information that we could deal with a while back. Views from the Black side with Mr. Tisdale, who was the publisher of the Jackson Advocate newspaper, the largest African-American newspaper in the state. And I'll say even beyond. But I was with him for many years, and we put on that program. Now people ask me to be back on the air, and here I am standing for the people with this program. Before I get too involved this evening, because I want to hear from you too, I'm going to be going over some things, but the number is 601-948-5950. I want you to hear a piece that we played it once before, and it's very serious, and this is something that is just in tune with what I'm going to be talking about this evening. If you do that for me over there, Handy.
Shocking health crisis is generating comparisons between months facing legal war down. Mississippi has declared a public health emergency over an infant mortality rate, which is even higher than that of war-torn Ukraine. They had people asking why so many babies were dying in Mississippi and what we have done to save them. In addition to saving all we have in detail, I mean, David, how is this even possible in 2025? What's happening in Mississippi?
Marky, that's a great question. Also, that's what health experts there are trying to figure out. Ultimately, this is a tough topic that is close to home for you and also newly expecting mothers across the country. Should mention, the U.S. has made great progress over the past 40 years, but as a nation as a whole, infant mortality rate nearly half from 10.9% in 1983 down to 5.6 in 2020 for the most recent year data available. But that's excessive percent across all 50 states. In fact, 20 states saw more than 6 infants die out of every 1,000 born. That's higher than the national average. The infant deaths have gotten so bad in Mississippi in particular, the state declared an infant mortality rate great public emergency. According to the state's health department, the state had 9.7 infant deaths per 1,000 live births last year. It's the highest infant mortality rate in more than a decade. And what's the most staggering, the infant mortality rate for Black children in Mississippi up to 15.2. We are 11 points higher than the year before, and it's the highest level in years. For other non-Hispanic children of color, the infant mortality rate is better, but still, more than double. The national average is 1.3. It's at 6.3 for Hispanic children and nearly in line with the national average for white infants at 5.8. Specifically, like more than 3,500 infants have died in Mississippi before their first birthday in 2014. And more than 3,500 before their first birthday since 2014. That's why it's so easy to trying to get to the bottom of this growing crisis.
Yeah, and possible to even think about or comprehend, how this is happening in this day and age.
This public service announcement was caused by the stress. In conjunction with
Now, if you were listening and you heard that, here we are in 2026 in the United States of America. And they said in the state of Mississippi, the infant mortality rate for babies here in Mississippi. And of course, we as African Americans are leading the statistics. They're talking about over 15 babies died before their first birthday here in Mississippi. Out of every 1,000 births, over 15 babies die before their first birthday. And not only that, mothers are dying, giving birth here in Mississippi at an alarming rate. A rate that they compare to war-torn countries like Ukraine that's literally at war right now. We're matching a country like that that's literally at war with infant mortality and mothers dying giving birth here in Mississippi with the advancements in technology that we have been able to secure to this point. So that's just one thing that I want us to think about here. Because some of the things I'm going to talk about tonight, I want people to get it really get it straight. Get it straight, because what I'm going to be talking about tonight is not about getting even. It's not about vengeance. It's about facts. It's not about trying to get back at anybody. It's about rectifying our situation. Now, we're at a point now that we don't have to march anymore. We don't have to sit in anymore. We fought for the right to vote. We now have the right to vote after people have given their lives, lost jobs, been harassed, beaten. As I say, I was about 13 years old. I saw a black man get stabbed in the back with a knife because he was registering black people to vote. A white man came up and stabbed him in the back with a knife. This is just because he understood the significance and the importance of us exercising our right as a citizen to vote, which had been denied to us here in Mississippi so long. Meg Evers shot in the back, trying to enter his home at night. Some lowlife laying in the weeds took his life. Why? Because he was registering black people to vote. And that's a right that we need to exercise. We must register and vote. That is our platform. A lot of times, sometimes people call in, they say, Shamsuddin, I hear you espousing the problems, but what are we going to do about it? Now for those who are sincere, I have answers for you. for those who feel like that's a question that's insurmountable, and I'm just out here going over the problems that we see every day, that's not what it's about. If we're going to rectify this problem that we have, first of all, we're going to have to register and vote. You have to register and vote. We are in a unique situation here in Hinds County. A unique situation. We're approaching 90% of the population in Hinds County. I'm talking about African Americans. We're approaching 90% of the population in Jackson. We're approaching 100% of the student population in our Jackson public schools and in our county schools. We are the government. Now, why is that so significant? Why is that so significant, Shamsuddin? Because history tells us that even after slavery was abolished, this country, and particularly the states in the South, came up with laws that prevented African Americans from succeeding in any kind of way. Prevented by law. So you weren't labeled as a slave. Our ancestors weren't labeled as slaves anymore, but the laws prevented them from advancing. And see, that's why it's so important in our schools that everyone learn what we've had to go through as a people. How else are you going to combat those mindsets out there like the Charlie Kirks and the Donald Trumps of the world, who want to give this false narrative of African Americans as if our whole existence here in America has been living off the welfare of white people? That we've contributed nothing, even though we spent 400 years in abject slavery. Can you think about what it would feel like to know you're in a position where someone can look at you because of their color and say, I own you? That's a horrible situation. And I'm glad you already responded, because one thing that I'm saying here, we're beginning to hear and we're listening. We are. And I really appreciate that. Go ahead, Carly, on there.
Hello, Judge. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you. I meant to say that at the beginning of the program. Thank you for reminding me. Happy New Year to all of you out there.
Yes, sir. I love the topic tonight. Did you see on the news where Congress had given all 50 states money to the rural area hospital out in billions of dollars? Yes. So they're going in with your topic tonight. And also, I wonder how much money was actually going to go into the rural area hospitals like in the Delta that's in the need of that money, and not in the hands of individuals that's trying to make a profit out of it, instead of thinking about the needs of the people in the rural hospital, because some of those individuals like 30 minutes to 45 minutes away from the nearest hospital. That's a lot. That's very important for them to get their money. And also, what about this light bill? Are we still suing Entergy? Because I'm tired of this $500 light bill I'm getting every month. This is ridiculous.
See, all of you at the winter have to set in. That's right. Yes, we are, sister. Yes, we are. You're making some good points, sister.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
All right, I'm gonna sit back and listen, but I'm enjoying your topic as always. And have a good night.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sister was making some good points there. And that's just what we're talking about, Okay. Go ahead, Carly, on there.
As you stated, I reported to Mr. Shivers Jones that we lost 15,545 infants within 22 to 23. This is a fact, a record. So I'm born of 13 children of a midwife. The solution to is with that $200 million, we got all these clinics around. Why don't we have midwives? Because this is genocide.
Absolutely.
If you're killing that many babies within that period of time, this is not an accident. This is an instrument because looking at the fact it constitutes genocide. So since everybody using the airways to speak their opinion, how is it we are losing this many children when I have countless evidence where people have been delivering 16, 12, 13 children, and they're living like my mother did through midwives, and you're sending these children, women to hospitals, and they're losing babies at universities and these rural hospitals. Make it make sense, Mr. Ali Shamsuddin. That's genocide.
Well, I agree with you, brother Claiborne. That's what your name came up. I agree with you. That's the whole point. In this day and time, 2026, we're coming into, and we're losing infants, not only Black, Hispanic, and white, at the alarming rate that we are in Mississippi. You see, but this is something that I think this national administration, I'm talking about the Trump administration, I think he gave lower economic white people a chance to see that Black people aren't the only ones on welfare. When their checks and their EBT cards didn't come at the end of the month or the beginning of the month, they're beginning to see. You see, but when you have mindsets out there like the Trumps, how would a person even think that white men need reparations in this country? And then on the same token, think that Black folks are out of place for asking for reparations for 400 years of free labor. They want to overlook that. You see, if they want people to think that we as a people here in this country, they brought us here to civilize us. They want everybody to think. And we've been living off them ever since. That's what they want people to think. Why would they bring us here just to do that? That's the question. They're not that philanthropic or good-hearted that they're just going to bring a nation of people here just to live off them. But that's what they want the world to think. And see, that's why I'm saying that now, the unique situation that we have here in Hinds County, Jackson Public Schools, that our teachers and administrators can't teach history of this country, history. But see, white folks want to call it, no, let me take it back. Some white folks, the mindset of the Charlie Kirks want people to think anytime you teach that Black people did anything of significance in this country, it's divisive rhetoric, they want to call it. As if we did nothing. There's never been a war that this country has been in, including the Revolutionary War, that Black people did not contribute to the American cause. Let me say that quite clearly. They want people to think that during the Civil War, the slaves just sat back on the plantations to see who was going to win, as opposed to joining the Union forces when they got close enough for the slaves to run away and join them, and fought. They didn't just go over there and wait to be fed and clothed. They joined and they fought. And the facts reveal that even the president, Lincoln, stated that he couldn't have won the war without the black ex-slaves fighting. They don't want people to know that. They don't want our children to know that. They don't want our family to, our children and us or the world to know the Spanish-American War, the Rough Riders were a black unit. They don't want the world to know that. World War I, World War II. It was after World War I when our grandfathers came back from World War I and realized there was another way to live other than the way they were living here in the South. They don't want the world to know that. So they can keep teaching this propaganda to keep the races against each other. The ignorant whites who want to believe that their problems are caused by black people. It's time out for that. And how can we make a difference? Well, one, here in Jackson, we can start putting people in office who really have an understanding of why we put them there. Up to now, almost 30 years, you can look around us and see. We put people in office that didn't have a plan other than to try to get rich themselves. Now you can look around you and see. So how are we going to deal with it? There's no mystery about it. How are we going to deal with it? Go ahead, brother. You're on there.
Ali, this is Brother Andre.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing fine. I just want to just tell you, happy New Year, and I hope your best success. But what I wanted to talk about, you were talking about, they don't want you to know certain things in the education system. They don't even want you to know about Africa or none of that, Timbuktu, none of that kind of stuff that's educational, especially about African culture, that we have. African culture got many different languages, dialects, and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right, Brother Andre. Absolutely
and
right.
what I want to say is this too, is we need to get involved with the voting process.
Absolutely.
We need to go and vote. If you don't vote, you don't complain. You take what you get.
Well, you really pointed out one of the main things we need to do, brother. Appreciate your call, Brother Andre.
Take care of yourself, man. And you have a nice day, man.
You too, brother. Happy New Year. So, I mean, we've had to struggle a lot more difficult than we have now. We finally got to the point now here in Jackson, we are the government. I can't say that any more clearly. We are the government. Every dime that's spent out of the budget for Jackson, Mississippi is controlled by black people. Period. Hinds County has a budget, $300 million. Every dime is controlled by 5 black county supervisors. Every dime. Jackson Public Schools has a budget of $434 million and 17,000 students. And every dime of that money is controlled by a black superintendent and a school board that's made up of 5 black people. Now, we're in a state, the only way they've been able to get away with what they've put us through the last almost 30 years is because we fell victim to ourselves. We automatically thought that because we put some black folks in these positions of authority, that things were going to automatically get better for us. And they should have. They should have. Go ahead, Carly, on there.
Mr. Sampson, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you, brother?
So far, so good. Happy New Year as well.
Thank you. Happy New Year to
My
you.
comment is this now. Now we voted to self-tax ourselves 1 cent, right?
Yes, sir. We
And
did.
other week I hear the news folks say that they're going to charge us $9 increase on the water bill. $9 equals to 900 pennies
Yes, sir.
versus that 1 penny that we authorize ourselves to be taxed. Now, the Republicans don't believe in taxes.
You're right. You're right.
This Republican governor have really got rid of all taxes across the board for what that would be affected by white folks, right?
Right.
Now, here's so why is it we're gonna? I know you want to talk about voting. I understand voting. I've heard it all my life. Now, how did that we come down to this water bill and we can't vote on it? Now, Wednesday don't care about my interest about my $9 that I'm losing, and I'm paying $10 for extra water just to drink every month. That's $10 that I'm paying loss of use of drinking the water, covered up that I'm paying a monthly bill for. I'm paying another $10 because water cost a case costs $3 at least a case.
Right.
You buy 4 cases to drink in a month's time. That's about $10. Now this water company will take my $10 that I'm paying. I'm having the extra $10 to pay for water that they should be supplying coming out the hive. Then they want to take that $10. It's as if they got a reverse class action suit against the people of the city of Jackson, whereas the city of Jackson should be filed a class action suit against the damn water company.
You're absolutely right.
And then they're going to entertain that as if they got a right to take $9 from us without even representation. Somebody we can do a GoFundMe account to get a lawyer to file a suit on how they are.
Well,
that's where the judicial system is supposed to work, right? You got Judge Wingate, you got who represents us before Judge Wingate?
well, the city legal department is supposed to be doing that. But,
Well, that's
I
right.
hear it in your voice,
So.
brother, and that's just what I'm talking about. We're beginning to just really take a look, and we really want to know how to deal with this problem. And that's why I'm here to tell you, man. One way is registering and voting. And the next thing is know who your city council person is. Know who they are. And then know how they vote. And ask that person, why aren't you coming out into our community and keeping us abreast of what's going on? So that we don't hear about things after everything has been done. And that's generally what happens.
That's the point I make about the Torrey Bridge over there on Whitfield Mills Road.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they found out that bridge was tearing up 30 years ago, and nobody done anything about it.
Right.
We're the Mississippi Lottery. It's supposed to be for roads and bridges. We can't use not one dime of that money to benefit the folks that's really probably spending more money in the damn lottery than the white folks. But white folks probably win more money out of the damn lottery than black folks pay into the damn lottery system.
What the thing
And like
is,
you said,
the thing is, brother, like we say, it's because they know we have not been watching. We have not been watching. And see, that's what I'm saying. We don't have to get out and march anymore. We don't have to get out and sit in anymore. We have put people in these positions of authority. We're not asking them to break any laws to give us the things that we should have as taxpaying citizens.
all we need for them to do is stop thinking that they should be pat on the back of their head to come to the doggone Christmas party and Thanksgiving party during Christmas and New Year on our behalf. My point about these babies being there, that Lynn Fitch is the one that started that Roe versus Wade lawsuit for abortion. It seems like somebody is offended by it because the hills of Mississippi lose this many doggone kids out of the fact that she stopped the doggone abortion for the whole 50 states of the United States. It's something right with that picture.
And they do everything so hypocritical and backwards, brother, But the fact is, like you say, people calling in like yourself, you're letting other people know you see what they see. And see, as we all begin to say, look, I can't imagine that our roads are any better than they are, because they aren't. I can't imagine that, but the fact that 17 babies die, black babies die in Mississippi before they reach their first birthday. And not only that, mothers are dying.
After the fact that the Roe versus Wade case was overturned by Lynn Fitch. And she need to explain that. in
Well,
our state,
whatever-
the
what-
person that overturned the law, or the person that overturned the law, and has all these babies dying on behalf of what? Because somebody's mad with her? Come on now, I'm saying,
Well, see, their
here's some-
solution, if you ask that mindset, their solution, the first thing they're gonna say, well, what the problem is, they don't wanna say black people. Cause, you know, that they're gonna get in there with Charlie Kirk, they're getting there to say it. But right now they'll say, well, the low income people are having too many babies. That's how they'll say it. They'll say, they're putting it on.
We need all, go ahead, sir, go ahead.
They're putting it back on the people. They having too many babies. What that's got to do with infant mortality? If a woman has 10 babies, what
They encourage
got to
all
do
those
with
babies to run their damn plantation. Come on now.
that? You're absolutely right, brother. Appreciate your call, brother. Thank you so much.
You have a great day, young man. Thank you.
All right. You ask any other with that mindset? Well, you know, it's the low income people, they having so many babies. They wasn't saying that when we were on the plantation. They used to breed us on purpose. And then that's what that term came from. And I won't say it right now. But that's the impact. But what we got to do right now, I'm saying to us, this is not about fighting and violence and all that. I'm saying right now, what we have working for us, we're the ones who put the mayor in office. We're the ones who put the city council in office. We're the ones who put the board of supervisors in office. We're the mayor is the person who puts the school board in those seats over there, and the school board puts the superintendent over there. And see, when they want to look at what we're so inefficient and we're so lazy, then you know that at one time right here in Mississippi, that it was against the law for a black person not to have a job. They call it vagrancy law. It was against the law for a black person not to have a job. And why did they make that law? Because if they found that you didn't have a job and you literally had to have a note from some white person saying that you worked for them, or they could put you in prison. You understand me? Now, if I said that to somebody, they would say, man, you know that that's how the absurdity of the conditions that we've had to come through to get to where we are now. And we're putting people in office who don't seem to remember that. And that's why we find ourselves in the condition and the shape that we're in. And so people say, well, how are we going to fix it, Shamsuddin? Know who you put over there in the city council. Know who you voted for over there in the board of supervisors. Know what's going on. How are you going to have $434 million with a C-rated school district and a superintendent making close to $300,000 a year? With a C-rated, just gave him a $50,000 raise. Where do they do that at? Except somewhere where we're not looking. That's where. School districts around Mississippi, B and A rated with hundreds of millions of dollars less than what Jackson had. And more students. More students. The census say we have 38,000 children in Jackson alone, between the age of 5 and 18. And only 17,000 of them are in our public schools. Where the rest of them at? You gonna tell me the 18,000 of them are in charter schools? What we need to do, and I'm happy to see it because I hear when you call it, I can hear it in your voice. We're tired of being complacent. We're tired of thinking that people are just gonna look out for the welfare of the citizens of this county and this state and this city just because they're black. That's it. I mean, we're gonna, you know, it sounds rough, but look around you. Who's been in charge for almost the last 30 years? Who? See, the legislature don't come down here and tell the city of Jackson how to spend that $323 million that they get every year. The legislature don't tell them how to spend that. The legislature don't come down here and tell the board of supervisors over there how to spend the county's money. The legislature over there don't come over here and tell the school board how to spend it. Well, they secretly does it. And they just passed a law that they have to give $10 million of their money to charter schools. See, then we have a judge like Crystal Wise Martin who had the backbone to rule that was not proper, that was not right. Of course, the Supreme Court ruled against her, but at least she had the backbone and said that, hey, you talking about our children here. You talking about our children. Go ahead, Carly, on there.
How you doing, Judge?
I'm good. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you too, Judge. I like the show there, but I just have a couple of things to say, Judge, you don't mind.
Go ahead, brother.
You straighten stuff. I'm gonna throw it out there, but I'm gonna let you straighten it up, okay?
All right, then.
All right. Judge, I see where a numerous of our people don't have the right spirit in them toward one another, Judge.
Uh-huh.
Now, I want to say this, Judge.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad for all the bishops, all the preachers, evangelists, the fivefold ministry, everybody that beat me to heaven, I'm going to take my hat off to them. But I want to say this, Judge.
I'm listening.
They need to put the right spirit in these people because we don't have it, Judge.
I hear you.
We need the right spirit in us, Judge. And a lot of people have the right spirit, and a lot of us don't have the right spirit. Until our people get the right spirit in them, it's going to be the same thing from now on. And I'm going to hang up and let you finish that for me.
Yes, sir, brother. Thank you for your call.
Right.
Thank you. And I can go along with the right spirit. You know, we have been labeled with that term of being an ignorant people. That term used to really grate me. But then when I come to realize, we're not a dumb people and we're not a stupid people. We have been ignorant. And ignorance would give you the wrong spirit. That's why I say to people with the mindset of the Charlie Kirks out there and the Donald Trumps out there, they're ignorant of what we as a people have contributed to this country because they don't want to know. And we've been kept ignorant of how government runs. So we thought that when we voted somebody in that was black, we had done our job. That it didn't end there. It didn't end there. There's a process. And we got to let them know if they're not doing what we put them there to do, they will be there one term. And that's it. Brother Walsh.
Yes, my brother, Judge Ali.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This been the last even of 2025, and I hear a whole lot of truth being spoken on the show tonight. I like to put in my 2 cents.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, brother.
Speaking of the history, he started out speaking about the type of government, democracy. In democracy, it is majority rule. Somehow or another, they got it twisted. And they thought, making democracy be based on race. It is not that. It's supposed to be based on the merit of the policies, of the ideas that the voters are interested in.
Right.
That cuts across race, gender, because democracy is a thing that determines who governs. Then if they're based on race, then what they do, they got to make damn sure our numbers, our representation in the voting process are limited. How do they go about limiting? Yelling us, giving us cold test, getting us to tell how many bubbles in a deck of bar of soap. Perhaps, I don't know, but a study should be conducted to see why there's so many black babies dying before age 2.
Exactly.
So I'm going to tell you about a politician, a leader, who saw baby Jesus. And they couldn't find him specifically, so they killed every child, a baby, before they reached age 2. They will stop and jail you to keep you from voting. They
Exactly.
will make sure you go to work when it comes time to vote. So I
Exactly.
imagine everyone out there to find some other ways, some methods, to make sure that we don't vote to our fullest potential. I thank you, and I hope that anyone else pick up the ways in which they have prevented and denied our right to participate in government. Gerrymandering is enough. And
Yes,
then
sir.
another thing, that they make that for sure we don't get the people in office that we like to represent by blocking them from even being on the ballot. Thank you. Happy New Year to you and everyone else.
Thank you, brother. Brother Walker. Well, see, as I'm saying, we're hearing you, and I'm glad that people are listening. You know, and like I say, for those who call and say, well, what can we do, Brother Chamberlain? Just what the brother said and the others that call in. Register and vote, but don't let it end there. When we put people in these offices, we got to monitor them. I'm not being negative. It's just that's the way rational people do. You look at people who you put in positions of authority, and you see if they're doing what you put them there to do. And again, I'm saying this emphatically. Never have we, particularly me, but us as a people, asked anybody to do anything illegal. Now, when they start doing the illegal thing, they get caught up in their own personal thing. But the laws are what they are. And if they spending our tax money the way the laws provide for them to spend it, we would be doing better. But obviously, like I say, if you take a school district over there with $434 million, now the city of Jackson's budget is $323 million. We have a population of citizens of 150,000 citizens that has to be taken care of out of that $323 million. That is the police force, the fire department, city offices, administration, and whatever. $323 million, 150,000 citizens. Now you got a school district over there with $110 million more than the whole city of Jackson's budget. $434 million, 17,000 students. And they're claiming that they don't have enough money to keep our schools open. Why does that work? Why would you pay people over there? You got 22 people over there besides the superintendent making over $125,000 a year, while the teacher's making $42,000. They gave the superintendent a $50,000 raise just this year. $50,000 when the teachers are making less than $50,000. Why do they do that at? Only because we don't put pressure on them by going to the meeting, looking them in their face, and asking questions. We have to know who your city council person is. Because they're hoping that we don't get out and vote. They want to win by 50 votes. They want to win by 100 or 200 votes. They're hoping that because nobody is looking. Because you know that $33 million that they gave to that white law firm in Alabama? Why we have a law department, we have a legal department here in the city. We pay them. How were they able to get $33 million? Because 4 members on the city council voted for it. That's how it works. That's how it works. You know, when your city council person tell you they don't know what's going on, they really shouldn't be there. If they're not coming out into the community, having enough meetings so you know what's getting ready to happen, what they're getting ready to vote on, they're not doing their job. Same thing with the Board of Supervisors. That's how good government works. How matter if a Democrat, because a lot of people don't even realize most white people were Democrats until the late 60s, early 70s. Most people, until Ronald Reagan, most white people were Democrats. Why? Because they were mad at Abraham Lincoln because he was a Republican. Now all these black codes and all these laws that were made to get free labor out of black people by putting them in jail for nothing and farming them out to plantations? As late as the early 1970s, right here in Hinds County, the Board of Supervisors used to order black farmers how much they could grow on their land, how many cows they could take to market. They used to do that. Now we're sitting in these same seats and we can't benefit. So that's the point. People, when you call, you said, I appreciate y'all calling this evening because you're saying the right thing. We can't afford to let the world keep thinking that we didn't have people among our midst like an Ida B. Wells, a black woman who was born in slavery and became the first black millionaire in this country. Ida B. Wells. When you go, every intersection you go to with the street light up there, most people don't know that a black man invented that. Most people don't know that because they don't want people to understand. They want people to think that we have just been a burden on this country ever since we've been here. It's time out for that. And we got a school, we're in control of a school district in this county and this city. These are our children. These are the next generation. These are people that we're going to be dependent on at some point. And what kind of civilization does not take care of their children? Dr. Charles Drew, the man who, when you go to the hospital now and need a blood transfer, Dr. Charles Drew is the black doctor that came up with plasma. Here you got a college dropout like Charlie Kirk, afraid to get on an airplane because a black pilot is flying. Because they want people to think DEI means any black person that come and apply for a job, no matter what he is, surgeon, lawyer, accountant, they don't even have to be qualified. We just got to hire you because you're black. That's the they want to put out there, the narrative they want to give to the world. When we know better. Any of us who are doctors or lawyers or accountants know, and no test that they told us we didn't have to take to be qualified. But they don't want the world, and our children need to know this. Because I firmly believe a lot of this violence that you see out in the streets with our young children, they're trying to prove to the world that they're not cowards. Because that's what the narrative has been given to the world. Black folks are just a group of dancing fools and cowards. Like the world don't need to know what we have contributed to the world, not only to America. So when you call in and say, well, Chancellor, what can we do? Register and vote. And not only that, monitor the people that we put in office. Ask them, how did you vote on, and why didn't I know about this bill that y'all just voted on? That becomes the question. Why do I have to hear about things that you put into effect afterwards? And see, when people say, well, this is democracy and majority rule, that's what no. The United States, by Constitution, is a republic. What does that mean, Chancellor? A Republican Party. What does republic mean, Chancellor? It means by law, the majority has to look out for the welfare of the minority. That is, the majority cannot pass any laws or any rules that would hinder the minorities from having equal access to whatever this country provides. This is the type of information that they don't want us to understand. They don't even want white people to understand that. That's why white people are, we the majority, we need more white folks. Because they don't understand what America is. They don't understand. Just because you're the majority don't mean that you get everything your way, not in the republic. So the truth is here. Now, but much of they don't want to hear it. Once you hear it, you can't unhear it. Once you hear it, you can't unhear it. You see, so when we put people in office, their role is to look out for all citizens, regardless of who they put them in, who we put in office. But we as citizens, our duty does not stop once we elect anybody. That's not the end of the process. We need our community organizations, our churches, our whatever organization you belong to, or just your plain citizens. Know who you put in office and demand that they let you know what's going on. Demand it. And this is where we're coming into this new year, 2026. This is what we should be. That's the attitude we should have. You know, it's time out now. My good friend, Randy Wildman Brown, used to say, time out now for us being complacent. We've seen now, they have shown things ain't gonna get better just because we put a black person anywhere. We better find out and know who we put there. And if they're not functioning the way they should, they won't be there long. Now that's just common sense. That's survival. As Fannie Lou Hamer, most of our children, you ask your child in school if they know who Fannie Lou Hamer is. Right here out of Mississippi. Ask your child, do you know who Fannie Lou Hamer is? Black woman out of Mississippi who stood up for our rights. She was represented as citizens. Who stood up on the floor at the National Democratic Convention and said, here in Mississippi, we are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And here we are in 2025 going into 2026, and 17 black children don't make it to their first birthday out of his house. And when we start talking about our schools, these are our children. These are our future. We didn't put black people over there just so they could get rich. These are the people we're going to rely on. And when you say, okay, you got 17,000 students and you can't educate them with $434 million, isn't something wrong with that picture? We've come through a lot, but I will continue to say, we're not dumb, we're not stupid, we've been ignorant. And these cars that we drive around every day, we all need to know. A black engineer perfected the automatic gear shift in the car that you drive. Here's this college dropout talking about he afraid to get on a plane. The plane, the propeller planes, black men help perfect the propeller that planes use. You know, this is nothing. What's divisive about that? For our children or the world to know that? What's divisive about that? For our children and the world to know that black people fought for the American cause in every war this country has had. What's divisive about that? Black surgeons and doctors, inventors, the person that perfected the light bulb that we use every day, a black man. They give credit to Thomas Edison. But the man who perfected the light bulb such that it lasts as long as it does was a black man. You think our children need to know that? You think the world needs to know that? We've been too long on the laws that kept us from advancing. Because you have ignorant minds out there who throughout the ages, you take Greenwood in Missouri, I believe it was, they used to call it the Black Wall Street. Black folks prospering, investing, making money in the stock market, banking. And what do white people do? Burn down the whole district, kill thousands of black folks. Now, I'm saying that for revenge? No, I'm saying that we need to understand, our children need to know. Their children need to know so they can stop with all this foolishness. How are we going to advance? We got people thinking that black folks just been here all our existence in America, living off what the grace of white folks. How are we going to advance? And then we allow people that we put in office, whether they black or white, not look out after our interests. How are we going to advance? So it's time now. You never hear anybody running for any of these officers saying, I don't know what to do. Then they don't say that when they're running. They got all these ideas. Then once you get in office, what happened to the ideas? Where's the plan? Why ain't we doing better? And stop pointing at white folks. Go ahead, caller, you on there.
Yes, brother, I know you from Missouri, but it was Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Thanks for the correction, brother. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir. See, and that's the whole point. This whole world needs to be corrected. You know, our children walk around the street, you know, thinking that they come from a race of people who never contributed anything to this country or the world. We can't have that. We're putting people in office, and we, not only us, but our children are looking at it. Why are we second rate? I mean, those of us who grew up in that era, we thought that that's just the way it was supposed to be. Our schools, the buildings were second rate, the teachers weren't. But when you ask, well, what can we do, Brother Shamsuddin? We can register, we can vote, and know that it don't end there. That whoever we put in these offices, we're going to demand that they let us know beforehand what the plans are, not afterwards. What you doing with our money, let us know. And you know, as I wrap up here, you know, there was some talk about an audit being done with the city of Jackson. What happened? Where is it? So the questions need to keep coming, people, and we're gonna keep looking. So that's what we say for 2026. Let's make it happen. This is Ali Shamsuddin. I'm standing for the people. Take us out, Handy.